Hey guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. So today I decided to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you one of my gameplays on Arc Raiders. I personally think this game is quite good in terms of like graphics, gameplay loop, performance. I was very impressed with the performance. It feels like the game is pretty much well optimized. I was reading a little bit of online on apparently the approach that Embark Studios tries to use, and is that they rather use, let's call it, medium to low quality assets, but they put them in a way where the density of assets is, it feels like the world feels vibrant. Okay, so just to give you a background, I'm not very super well versed on the so I'm not very super well versed on these extractor shooters, right? So I was trying to kind of figure out the vendors, what do I have to use to improve it and so on, right? At this point, I'm looking at the map. I was trying with my friend to go to a different place, but I noticed that you required the full game to go to certain areas, which is okay. This is just a play test. I personally do not like extraction shooters because the loop in general of getting things to go back and then to craft and then back to go in and then to go back, it's something that I personally don't feel enticing. Okay, but I understand that apparently most people do, and that's fine. The game is not bad. Performance, I was very impressed. I would lock the game at 120 frames because I think my maximum was like 180, 170, but fluctuating 140, 150, 160. So I'm one of those guys that rather have it set at 120 frames per second, or at least at a number that I feel comfortable, typically more than 100. Okay. I don't think this game is, let's say it's a challenge, let's call it this way, but I don't feel it is competitive in terms that latency and super high frame rate is going to make a difference. I don't know. That's debatable in this type of game. Okay, maybe you want to do that, so put everything on low. I'm showing gameplay here, everything on ultra. I just turned off DLSS. I put DLAA. Okay, everything else is max. As you can see, this is me exploring. You have some different mechanics where to like loot stuff. In this case, you have to like keep holding there, and then you get what it's in there. I personally did not like that mechanic where when you are actually opening like the loot bin, you have to wait for it to charge. So for example, if you have 10 items, they're going to start loading up for you to see from the first one to the last one, and you can try to kind of, I think you can try to guess the drama, I guess, or it gives you that effect like you're in a hurry. If somebody watches you that you're looting, you're basically standing still with one headshot and you're dead. So I understand those type of design decisions, and of course I'm pretty sure I haven't done any research. This is just what I experienced. So if I get some things wrong, that's fine. You can tell me. By any means, this is a super detailed investigative approach to Arc Raiders. No, the game is good. This is me and my friend looking at things. We saw that at that point there was somebody shooting, so I decided to use the binoculars. I had a hard time finding out how to use the binoculars, but at the same time, I'm very bad at doing tutorials or using tutorials. I just rather discover them myself. You can see that the map is very dense. I like that. The mechanics feel sharp. I have zero complaints about performance, feeling, responsiveness. The game is very well optimized. So going back to that approach of the looting, right? So I think many things are gate kept, so you have to get experience and go back to the lobby and craft them, and your character gets better, so you do things faster. So things that I may not find, super enticing about this type of mechanics is that, of course, it's one of these mechanics that the more time you spend on the game, technically you have advantage over the others. And I don't think I'm wrong on that. You guys can correct me. I do think this game is going to be a hit just because the other extraction shooters that were supposed to come out this year were marathon, and I think that game is either on hold, on pause, or just back to zero, uninstall, just delete the project, right? So the game, I actually liked it a lot. I played like three extractions. I tried with my friend here. This is one that I actually purchased, or at least equipped my binoculars. He told me over there that he saw something, so I'm trying to figure it out. What am I looking at? What am I seeing? You can see that the map feels very open. You can also see that the frame rate is sharp at 120. It rarely moves, which, circling back to one of my main comments, the performance of the game is simply, I would say, impressive. Like the quality that you're getting visually and the performance that you're getting out of your machine, I think that's something that we should applaud, just because we have been seeing so many games that are a performance disaster. And I think that's important to point out. Just like I typically point out when I feel something is not optimized, I think this game, it's in a very good state performance-wise. So I will try to stop commenting on that. Another thing, and you're gonna start to see, another thing that I personally don't like about extraction shooters is that most of them that I've played, like the Cycle, they're typically third person. I don't remember right now if Tarkov is first or third. I think it's first. But most of the time, my complaint with third person shooters is that the shooting mechanics, they don't feel as sharp and as like polished as some other games, right? And I think if you're trying to make an extraction shooter game, well, shooting mechanics should be very, very well polished. And I'm not saying by any means that this game has a bad feeling. I'm just saying that, I didn't feel that the shooting mechanics were super fulfilling. Okay, that's just how I felt. You can see that the mechanics, like look at how that canister move every time you're moving. I think the game it's very good. I believe that the release price is going to be around $40. So not really what we call today a full game or full price game. Oh, another thing that caught my attention was, and I remember now, is, for example, on the Cycle, you have this social area, right? When you are like in that lobby and you kind of interact with the vendors and you're moving around, right? And I think that's important for these type of games because in a way they make you spend more time, okay? In this game, in Arc Raiders, for some reason, the vendors are all like clicks away. You're not really in a zone. You're more like in a menu. And I would like you guys to give your opinion on that. I mean, it's faster for us because you technically spend more time on the actual extraction thing rather than the crafting portion of it. But I think this game, in general, ticks, right? That part of gamers that like looting, a little bit of shooting, right? You can see here again what we were commenting. Things take time to load and you have to kind of wait. I believe that over here my friend kind of told me, hey, there's people with me. So I start to look back, I start to get to hide. You can see that part of my comment on the crosshair. Well, the crosshair is not really what I would call the best. I feel like they're all the same. I do not know if there are scopes for snipers at some point. I think they should. Probably there are. I just didn't manage to get one by one, basically. Okay. So at this point, we're trying to actually play in the extraction shooter. We think there's people around. I don't remember if we see them. I do remember that this little guy, the drone, I think they're programmed well, because I really remember feeling like I was gonna die, because I'm not sure I was truly hitting in that area, right? So you can see that it does something. They threw some rockets, and I'm like, okay, I'm alive, that's fine. But then another appears, right? And I say, oh no, I'm probably dead, right? I didn't want to start shooting because apparently we have people. So, yeah, I managed to make it alive because my friends kind of started shooting, and he helped me. But yeah, you can see also another thing that I felt is, at least with the weapons that I had, of course, very early beginning, right? I think it's designed to be hard because it's the very early game. Well, basically, I think my weapons were kind of trash. Of course, as I said, probably part of the design where you have to craft, you know, get it better, the weapon, get attachments, and so on. I think the only thing that I would comment and they could probably do a little bit better, I just don't know if that's really relevant for the conversation, was that social part, right? Like when, as I said, when you're in the menu itself. But overall than that, I think the game is really great. At this point, my friend and I, we don't really have too much loot, but we're kind of feel like, you know, we're being followed by some people and we just can't see them. So we decide to just, hey, maybe we have to leave. So I start opening the map, you know, where do we have an extraction point? I'm looking for the lift, right? I start to see that you have loot value that it shows you. I believe that just like the cycle, every time you enter the map, you're dropped in a random zone, I guess. So I'm pretty sure these are like pre-controlled zones that you can drop, and then we decide to move there to go onto that lift. So we're moving. I see the stairs. I think I ping them. Yeah, you ping them, and then we keep on moving. You know, we're trying to go there to the side. We see an interesting zip line. I think my friend says, "Hey, look, there's a zip line there." So we say, "Okay, let's go left and see what's up." You can hear the sound of the water. Pretty much very interesting. Very, I would say, fine, detailed, tuned audio. Like whatever you're stepping on has a different key of sound, and then basically guides you over what like fills your environment. I think that's pretty normal nowadays, but very important to notice that they're still using and doing that for sure. You can see the openness of the map here as well. You can see a little drone on the right side. I'm trying to find something to loot, and of course always with a little bit of care, just because you never know who's around, right? So things to take into account. I later found out that you can press the key shift and then click, and then you automatically put it in. So that's good to know. At this point, I think I say, hey, let's go and take this zip line. Well, you want to go there originally. You want to go there on the top because the elevator is there. So I say, oh, hey, let's take this. And then you can see the zip line use. Feels pretty normal nowadays. Kind of odd that the zip line is going up, like gravity and stuff. But I mean, it's a game. It's meant for you to have fun, so it's fine. No problems against that. We hear some shooting, and I still want to go up. I'm still exploring, waiting for my buddy here. My friend says, oh, hey, they're shooting. Like, somebody's shooting that drone. And you can see that red flare. At the beginning, I didn't know what the red flare meant. In a couple of seconds, or probably minutes, you're going to see what the red flare is about. We start, seeing them. People, like, these drones are going crazy, right? Once again, my weapons are not the best, really. I think they're kind of sucky. Very hard to destroy these drones. And I think that's something that is mentioned a lot in this commentary video. It's related to the looting game aspect. right? Like the cycle of going back, improving your weapon, and so on, so on, so on. So that's that. Okay, so the interesting part comes here. We almost died. I start to, you know, heal, put my shield as well, and then my buddy says somewhere at some point, like, hey, see, he got shot. And then we are like, oh, we have people. So this is the only part of the video where you're gonna see actual real combat. And this is part of my critique, right? Like, I'm supposedly handling a sniper, and you can see my aim. Like, I mean, I hate that guy, by the way. You can see the weird electric sound that it made there. I think that's cool, personally. Like, there's no actual feedback that you're hitting, but you have like visual and audio cues that, you know, you definitely hit somebody. So at this point we wanna still get out, of course. Me looting. I hate this part of like searching what's available for loot, like the time it takes to actually show. And then my friend here, he's opening the latch. I still think there's people, they're shooting him. And then he tells me like, hey, they're on top of me. And then I tell him, okay, I got you. And you can see, so the red flare, and you can see it there. The red flare is every time you knock somebody. So what we saw before was probably this team knocking somebody. And you can see I knocked 2 guys. It's still not clear to me if it's only a duo team, if they're, you know, knocked, or if there's a trio and there was one left. I'm still not quite sure to me. But anyhow, it's a great game, has amazing graphics. It has an attractive price nowadays, basically 50% off of any what we would call a AAA game, right? So it's not 80 bucks, it's not 70 bucks, it's 40 USD. So I mean, I think this test server play was a good time for you to test it. Hopefully you did. And well, if not, you have some video like this and some commentary. I hope you have a great day and enjoy this. Okay, so have yourself a great night, a great day, great evening. Bye bye.